Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, students, this is lecture number 7 of postmodern fiction. Students, in our previous discourse, we have discussed about 100 years of solitude, and some of the students they share their very valuable knowledge in this regard. So, students, similarly, we are going to discuss this fiction, The Reluctant Fundamentalist in Postmodern Context. But this novel is more important as compared to 100 Years of Solitude, because this is written in Pakistani context, and we may realize through this novel the postmodern elements easily. So, students, as I have told you in our previous lecture, that you people must be careful while reading a text. So when you are reading a text, you must focus on the characters of the novel. Students, through these characters we may establish our viewpoint about a particular theory. For example, we are working on postmodernism and modernism as well. So when you have a critical stance on the characters of the novel and their role in the story, in the given story, so we may establish a well developed perspective on a given theoretical framework. So in this regard, today I am going to discuss with you people the characters of the novel that I have mentioned in my course outline. Okay, in today's lecture we are going to discuss Changez, the stranger, Erika, Jim, the waiter, Wainwright, John, Batista, Japanese driver, and some other minor characters. Students, you people must realize their role, their different roles in the novel. In this way we may get access to the themes of the novel that are mostly postmodern. So students, our first character is Changez. Students, Changez, the protagonist of the novel, is a Pakistani man who went to college in Princeton and who narrates the story of his time in the United States to the stranger. The characters we may mention in our second slot. For most of the novel, Changez loves the United States and works hard to be accepted by his American friends and colleagues while working at a New York financial firm. After 9/11 changes his perspective and he faces increasing racism and discrimination, and as his relationship with the beautiful American Erika is strengthened by Erika's obsession with her dead former boyfriend Chris, he eventually becomes disillusioned with his adopted country, viewing it as a danger to the rest of the world. Students, Changez then leaves America and returns to Pakistan, where he becomes an anti-US lecturer. Throughout Changez's narration, he sometimes addresses the stranger directly, and these interactions are never entirely clear. Students, Changez's tone hovers between concern, politeness, and care, and a kind of over solicitous curse, which one might also say accurately describes his feeling for the US at this point of his life. Students, ultimately, though the novel ends without revealing whether or not Changez can be trusted both as a narrator and as a friend to the stranger, whether Changez has come to his anti-US views while still to an extent loving America, or whether he has become a terrorist. Students, there is a sense in the cliffhanger ending which seems poised on a knife's edge between cementing friendship between Changez and the stranger or descending into violence, that Changez is in that moment choosing his own path. Students, through the character of Changez, you may find a very important theme of postmodernism, that is displacement. We may work on the displacement and placement of Changez into different words that affect his thinking about a particular reality. And so many students question me during our sessions that what is the major difference between postmodernism and modernism, and what is the main feature of postmodernism. So time and again I kept telling them that this is postmodernist approach towards reality. And as we have discussed in our earliest lectures, that for postmodernism, reality is arbitrary. It is changed from time to time, place to place, and person to person. So when I emphasize on the characterization of a novel, I actually want to tell you people that through these characters, you people may argue or understand the main themes of the novel. So, for example, we have discussed now Changez and how he displaces from America and places in Pakistan, and how he changes his views in different circumstances. So, in a postmodernist perspective of the novel, you people must focus on such epiphanies in the characters of the novel. Students, our second character is the stranger, the unnamed person to whom Changez recounts his time in America. The stranger never speaks in the book. In fact, the reader's only impression of him come from Changez's remarks. Because of this, it is left unclear how much Changez can trust the stranger. It seems possible that the stranger is merely a tourist, and just as possible that he is some kind of government agent. In fact, there is a sense that the stranger may even be an American spy sent specifically to investigate, apprehend, or even kill Changez. Yet the novel ends on a cliffhanger, not revealing who or what the stranger is, and in that way capturing the uncertainty and tension in any exchange between these cultures in the post 9/11 world. Students, fragmented identities is also a very much important theme in postmodern fictions. So again, this prove me valid that when we read the characters of a novel, so you may find out the main theme of the novels as well. So in a postmodern study of the given novel, So you may find out the identity that is different in different times, in different regions. The first female character of the novel is Erica. Erica is a beautiful and popular Princeton graduate with whom Changez falls in love. She has strong feelings for Changez, though she sometimes seems to view Changez as an exotic foreigner more than a true friend and lover. A writer, she is nostalgic for Chris, a childhood friend and boyfriend who died a year before she and Changez met. After 9/11, she falls into depression and mental illness, focused around an obsessive nostalgia for Chris that strengthened. After 9/11, she falls into depression and mental illness, focused around an obsessive nostalgia for Chris that leads her any possibility of a relationship with Changez. By the end of the novel, she may have killed herself, though Changez in his life in Pakistan still thinks fondly of her and imagines, though without any real hope, that she will someday come to him. That the name Erica is contained within the word America is no coincidence, and Changez's relationship with Erica can be seen as analogous to his relationship to America. Students, here we find the confusion of the characters for each other. This confusion is another major theme of postmodernism. Students, Jim, another important character, is an executive vice president at Underwood Samson and Changez's mentor for most of his time with the company. Because he worked his way up from an impoverished family, Jim identifies with Changez's financial situation and regularly communicates this to Changez. Like Erica, Jim's feeling for Changez may be limited by his minimal understanding of Changez's culture and personality. The novel also hints that Jim may be interested in Changez romantically, though Jim's sexuality is never revealed. Students, the waiter in the novel serves Changez and the stranger while they sit and drink tea in the cafe in Lahore, to which Changez steered the stranger, a member of a tribe victimized by American military. The waiter appears hostile and angry with the stranger, though Changez assures the stranger that the man is polite and gentle. At the end of the novel, the waiter is running toward the stranger in a dark end street and may be about to attack him, though this is not at all certain. Wainwright, Changez's friend at Underwood Samson and the only other non-white trainee. Wainwright is laid back and popular with his peers. He and Changez quickly become friends, but because he is more comfortable with America and American culture after 9/11, he and Changez grow apart. Nevertheless, Wainwright is the only one of the Changez peers who shakes his hand when Changez is fired. John Batista, the president of a publishing company that Underwood Sampson values. Changez works on the project and becomes friendly with John Batista. It is John Batista's questioning that leads Changez to see himself as a person who has been kidnapped and made to fight against his own culture. This revelation causes Changez to cease working at his job at Underwood Sampson. One day, while traveling to work for Underwood Sampson in a limousine, Changez notices a kind of public bus. Jeepney, a kind of public bus driver, staring at him angrily. Changez cannot figure out whether the man seems angry at him for personal reasons, because he is jealous of Changez's suit and limousine, or because he hates Americans. After the starting match is over, Changez looks at his blonde Underwood Sampson colleagues and is struck by their foreignness and feels suddenly closer to the driver than to his colleagues. This incident is a first step in Changez's increasing alienation from the United States. Students, besides the above major characters, there are many minor characters that are also important to understand the thematic concentration of the novel. The first one is Chris. He is Erica's dead boyfriend. She describes him as being a dandy with an old world appeal. Erica continues to love Chris throughout the novel, years after he has died, and her growing obsession with Chris after 9/11 ultimately leads her to depression and mental illness. Another minor character is Mike, one of Changez's classmates at Princeton. He goes on a vacation to Greece with Chuck, Erica, and Changez and attempts unsuccessfully to flirt with Erica. Chuck, one of the Changez classmates and soccer friends at Princeton, he travels to Greece with Changez, Erica, and Mike. Erica's mother, a kind but reserved woman who seems to like Changez. Erica's father, a powerful businessman who treats Changez somewhat condescending. Sherman, a vice president at Underwood Sampson, ranked below Jim. Changez's mother, she lives in Pakistan. When Changez returns to Pakistan, she hopes he will soon get married and wonders why he does not. Changez's brother, he lives in Pakistan. He gets married not longer after Changez returns to Pakistan, and at one point tells Changez that many people are fortifying their houses because they fear a war with US backed India. Changez's father, he lives in Pakistan and fears war with US backed India, though he refuses to discuss it. Students, you must understand the role of the major and minor characters in the novel to elaborate on the postmodern theme. Okay, students, see you in next class.